Hello everyone. I wanted to share a little bit of my editing process when I am using the Adobe Generative Fill tools. Now, before I keep talking, I want to just say that I know there is a big debate and argument in the photographers community all over the place that some people really are not in agreement with using these tools and some people love it. I at first thought it was a little weird because when I would see Mid-Journey images or Google Gemini or whatever, and then people would post it as if they took the photos, I found that to be kind of odd and taking credit as the artist when it's really not that way. But with the Generative Fill tool, after some time I got used to it and it has helped me so much. I use it to edit my images, I use it to clean up, I use it to take things away, add things into the images, and it just makes the editing process so much quicker. It's not that I don't know how to edit these things without these tools, but I just feel like it's not taking away from my photography. It's helping me to edit and clean up and do whatever I need to do. And it's just so much easier. And to me, in my mind, I feel like it's almost as if when people do a composite and they take, a bunch of images from wherever, stock and whatever else, and they take a car here and a building there and whatever, and they put it in their photo, but they didn't create those objects either. So to me, it's almost the same thing. It's like I'm creating something using my photos, but it's still my photos. And so I know some people, like I said, aren't in agreement with that. But the reality of it is this is the future. It's going to be like this. And I'm sure maybe at some point, maybe photographers will be wiped off the planet. I don't know. But right now, I feel like it's so helpful and so quick to help me edit what I need to edit. Now, for this image, I just wanted to show you how I do little quick cleanup steps using the tools that Adobe has added in Photoshop. And right here in the layers panel, I just want to show you, I'm going to turn these off for a second and I'm going to zoom in just so you can see what I've done. And so if you look at her eyebrows, I just wanted to see what it would look like if I change them, made them a little more thicker or whatever the case. She has really nice eyebrows, but I just wanted to see how it would look, changing them out a little bit. And so this is before and after, and I like them. And if you notice that the Generative Fill tool reads the lighting in the image, and which is so much quicker and easier than trying to match shadows and light and whatever else. I have never been a fan of compositing. There are some really good artists out there who can do that really well, but the fact is that I do not like to sit here for 9.5 hours with 73 layers open. And I'm sure some of you who have been following me for a while or watched any of my tutorials know how I feel about that, because I say it all the time. I don't like it. I like editing, but only to a point. I don't want to sit and edit and do all that. So I just love the fact that it will read the shadows and the light. It's added a little bit of this blue tint here, which is what I had. Over here there was a little bit of a blue light, and you see it's reading it because there's a blue light on her side of her face and a little bit on the shoulder, and it just kind of added that in there. And I thought, wow, that looks good. Now I will say too that it's not always a perfect result. That's why they give you a few choices, but for the most part I am pretty happy with what it helps me create while I'm editing. Now this image is already edited. I did not use AI to do any of the basic editing that I usually do, cleaning up skin and whatnot, cleaning up whatever the case, the background, if there was anything, that needed to be clean. This is a studio style shot, and I usually do all my basic editing as usual. That is all, like I said, where, you do your initial steps before you get into the creative side of things. Now this layer here is the next layer, and it helped me to easily remove that nose ring. Okay. And it put the shadow back and everything. I'm really happy with the way it helps me create and edit what I need to edit. Now for this video, I just want to quickly show you how I use the Generative Fill tool to edit or add or take away and just clean up hair in general. And I'm going to click back up here on the latest layer, just because that's where I last left off. And what the tool does is it just creates a new layer as I go. I don't have to like keep, creating a new blank layer and all this other stuff. Okay. So what I want to do actually, like we had a fan blowing and so it created some bit of mess, which I left in the original edit anyway, but I just thought, let me use this for the tutorial and just kind of show you how it can clean up hair really, really well. And so I have the lasso tool selected and I'm just going to actually draw around this little bit of a mess of hair, which doesn't look bad. If any of you know or have followed my work, you know how I am about hair. I don't mind messy hair. I don't like it looking perfect and photoshopped to such a point where it looks like it's been cut out or over edited. So now that that's been selected, I'm actually going to type in maybe clean up hair or clean hair, and just see what happens. So a lot of this is a guessing game when you're typing in prompts. It doesn't always work. I am on the Firefly image 3 selection, but they offer these other ones, which I haven't touched any of those yet, but maybe I'll try them out. But I'm just going to stick with Firefly for now. And I'm going to hit generate and see what it does. And also let me just point out that if you hear background noise, there's like a snowstorm outside. There's a guy out there with a snowblower and he keeps turning it off and on, and I'm very sorry. I just waited and waited and he's not stopping. He's just been doing this for like 3 hours and he keeps coming around here, and I don't know why they're blowing snow in this weather. Like, I don't get why they're doing that now, because the snow just keeps coming back. So if you hear any weird buzzing background sounds, that's what that is. Okay, so as you can see here, it cleaned up the hair pretty nicely, but did not make it so perfect that it looked cut out or weird. And so like right here, this is what I said. Sometimes the results turn out funny. And this one too, I don't mind. So it still leaves a little mess and I'm okay with that. I feel like I like this one the best. And if I zoom in, I just select the mask. I get my brush. My mask is black. So my brush is now, I'm going to put it at 100% and make sure white's selected. And I'm just going to go over it a little bit. Sorry. What am I saying? I have to make sure I'm on black because the mask is black. Sorry about that. And then you see here, if I start painting over it, it starts to kind of put all that mess back. So I'm just going to tweak it a bit. So as you see, there's still editing involved. It's not always perfect, but it just helps speed up the process. And oh man, especially with hair is is like a key feature in my images. Like hair is so important to me. I know some people it doesn't bother them, but that's just something I pay attention to a lot is hair. I don't want it looking perfect and I don't want it looking crazy either, or messy or flat or boring. I feel like hair is like, it just tops the whole look. Okay. So now I'm going to get the lasso tool again. So this side looks okay to me. And I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. Just clean up a little bit of the stray hairs. It's nothing noticeable. Like if you zoom out, you really don't even notice it that much, but I'm just going to do it again. And this time I'm going to leave it blank and just see if it knows what I want it to do, because sometimes you can get away with leaving it blank. But if it doesn't work after a couple tries, then I put in a prompt. It just really all depends. Like I said, sometimes it's a guessing game. Okay, so like that looked not what I wanted. None of these did. Okay, so we're going to try it again. Okay, so I'm just going to circle this section again. And this time I'm just going to put in smooth hair. Okay. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. It's a little flat compared to the shape that I had here before. And so I'm going to go through the other selections. I think this one looks good. Like I had mentioned before, it leaves some of that mess behind and I want it to, because if it doesn't, like this is very smooth and looks odd because there's a little bit of fuzzy hair here and then a little bit over here and down her back. I need it to make sure that it still suits the rest of the hair itself. Now this, I like the hair blowing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a section here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I want to see if I can create more hair in the wind. So let's type hair in wind and see how that works. There's so many times I try so many different prompts. It really all just is a guessing game, and I keep saying that because it really is. But sometimes it makes the craziest looking like outcome, but it just makes me laugh sometimes, the crazy stuff it does. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with the results that it does give me as options. So right here, I like this part, but right here, I don't like this. And so what I'm gonna do is actually select the mask again, get my brush, make a bigger brush size, and also the brush hardness is at 0. I don't want it to be like a crisp outline of the brush. I need it to be soft. And I'm gonna bring the opacity down maybe to about 60. And I'm just going to, oops, keep doing that, paint back over the spot I didn't want it to change. Well, at least the way I didn't like the way the result it created. So, okay, so let's see, just make sure that's all put back. So there's before and after, and I like this little chunk. So I'm gonna go again, and we're gonna do another one. Let's do same thing, hair in wind. Okay, not too bad. It's still a little too much. So I'm going to deselect that and just make a little bit of a smaller selection and just go right over here. I'm gonna try that one more time. Okay, that's a lot better. This middle one I think is the one I like. This one's okay, but I think I like this. So it's still little strays, but it's a little more solid right here. And I'm going to just do it one more time. Hair in wind. And if you notice, I keep typing the same prompt. Sometimes I don't. It just really depends on what's happening. Okay, not bad. Not bad. I think I like this one. I'm going to zoom out. And I'm going to go to the original photo. Okay, so the original photo is fine. It's already, it's been edited the way I wanted it, but I'm just kind of just seeing what different look I can create by using the Generative Fill tool. So I am happy with that. And now I'm going to go down here and just try a little bit of down here. So the other thing with the Generative Fill tools in here is that it is able to read the depth of field in the image most times, not always, but most times. So actually I'm going to I just want to see if it'll kind of fix this little chunk of hair here. I know that when I first edited this photo, I just let this be because it was a blur anyways, because I believe I was using the f-stop was like 1 point, I don't know what. But I'm just going to put in hair and wind again. And I like that it is able to read the depth of field most times, because then I'm not worrying about trying to match the blur and whatever else. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. I actually added some blue in her hair, which, I didn't ask it to, but not bad. It's actually kind of pretty. I'm going to do it one more time, but I'm noticing just right here, I don't know if that's the original. Was there already? Oh, it was. It's the way the light was shining. It looks like there's a chunk of hair that's been cut or something, but it's just the shadow. But now that I'm noticing that, like I said, I am crazy with noticing hair a lot. I'm going to go over that part, and I'm just going to build on what this created here and try this one more time. And if you notice, it matched the blur. So that is great. Let's try, actually, let's do add more hair in wind and see what it does. Okay, that is a little better. That one's not good. This one, I don't mind. Let's see. I like this part, but I don't like hair. So again, I'm going to go on the mask and just I keep doing that. Sorry, that's a bad habit I have. Not paying attention to the brush, what color it's on, and the mask, the color it's on. I keep fiddling around with that. switch back, just put some of this part back here. And then I'm going to leave a little bit behind, and I'm going to try just one more time. I'm going to type in something else. So I put add in more hair and see what it does. Okay, not bad. I like this. Ooh, this one's good. I think I'm happy there with that. Yeah, I think that's nice. So let's go to the original again. There's the original. Oops. And here is where it has fixed or changed, I should say, her hair because it wasn't bad to begin with. And then you can see all the layers it's creating, which is fine for me because I don't need to be really looking through these layers for anything. That's why I don't like composites. If you see I turn this layer back on, it's left from what I decided I didn't want to use, but I'm just going to leave that off so I don't get mixed up. And I'm going to try just a little bit more right here. If it looks weird, then that's fine. I feel like I'm happy with this and I'm done with that hair editing. We'll type in hair and wind again. Like I keep typing that in because the prompt is working. Sometimes the prompt makes the most craziest results. So I have to keep kind of switching, changing my wording around. And so it doesn't always turn out perfect or the way I would like exactly. And I'm gonna turn this off just so I can remember what it looked like without that. I don't think I like any of that. Okay, and so I think that I am happy with the way the hair has been cleaned up, and I want to try just one more thing. Sorry, I have a habit of doing that. I just want to see if I can add a little more hair on this side and just see what it does. But yeah, I really love that it will pay attention to the depth of field for me the majority of the time, because as you can see, there's a softness over here where it's more in the back of her versus the front. And it just makes things a lot easier. That looks kind of pretty. And it has made the hair a little more full. And I think I'm happy with that. Now, I'll show you one thing. Let's see. I don't know. Let's try something here. I just want to see if it'll make the hair longer, even though the sweater she's wearing is there. Let's see. I typed in create longer hair. And then after this, I'm done. I don't need to keep doing it. I know I can get a little overboard and keep playing around because it just sometimes creates the most amazing result. I'm like, ooh, wow, oh, yay. But you can see this is still oh, that's pretty. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I like this. I think this looks really pretty. And I'm going to leave it alone now. So this is just a quick example of how I use the Generative Fill tool. And plus, because also, we have credits with Adobe now, which I'm kind of annoyed that they did that. But for the basic credits that are included in your plan, I believe it's like $250, which can help like with a lot of images. I don't really need, more than that for the time being, unless I really start to get like heavily into it. But for the most part, I edit my images in advance and then I go in and clean up whatever I need to clean up, add little features, and I create like crowns, jewelry, I change the wardrobe. I can do really amazing things with the tool. And there's also a tool here that helps you to clean up distractions, things like that, but it doesn't use the credits, which I love. Also, Adobe has also added where you can, not right now because it's grayed out, but I would need to start on, I think, the basic layer, but AI denoise, AI sharpen, which helps. And so this tool here is let me see if the thing will pop up here. So this tool is a remove tool, and this helps a lot too when you just want to clean up things that you don't want in the image without using your credits. And so I've been using this a lot too. It can create some really good results as well. Like I'm not bothered by anything left in this image, but let's say I just want to clean this strap up. It is just so much easier than getting the clone stamp and doing this and that. Most times, like, it doesn't always work, but most times it does. So it tells you this too. We created a new layer with your edits to help you make changes without affecting the original content. And I just said, okay, whatever, that's fine. And I would rather they do that anyway. So here's a with and without. But it looks a little weird. So I'm going to just actually delete that layer. And I'm going to maybe, let's see, let's just try this side of her sweater. Just get rid of some of that little fuzzy bits. Oh, I say don't show again. Okay, so it kind of cleaned up that little mess there. It's not really a mess, but it just, you know, little things that make your eye go to that part of the image. I always feel like I want to clean it up and my eye does keep going over there. So I'm going to zoom out and we're just going to see the original one more time. So there's the original. Not a huge difference, but just the hair is a little more, you know, dramatic. Everything looks kind of, you know, just more together. And I'm really happy with that. And so I'm just going to quickly show you some before and afters of images that I've created using this Generative Fill tool. A lot of them are older photos that I've taken and I just revisit to practice and edit and see what kind of, you know, results it will create for me. Okay, so I have added some before and afters of images that I have shot and original edits and then showing the after results. And so I'm just going to show you some of them, how they look. So this is one that I created a while back. This is actually the same girl. She's got the nose ring there. And then I took it out here because you can see here, I completely changed the background. I added all this cool wardrobe, put gold on her. And I really loved this. And this took me a little bit because of all the details, but I was like, oh, this is so fun. I really love doing it. I'll go to the next one. And here is another image. So here's the original edit. And then here I just kind of made her into this sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, not Egyptian, but just more of like this ethereal queen, I don't know what, just covered in gold and bronze. And it put like these amazing earrings, added more braids, and then this really cool crown. Now again, same thing again. Here's the original edit, which again is fine, but I just used the tools to create this really neat overall look, adding more chains and diamonds and all kinds of jewelry, just making it look even more gothic-y or whatever, I guess. She looks almost like sort of like this ethereal type of princess. And then even the background, you can see I had added some clouds using the Generative Fill tool. And yeah, that turned out pretty nice. Another before and after, if we can get to it, is here's my before. This is a shot I took a way long time ago, 10 plus years. And it was always a favorite image of mine, but I was like, oh, let me see what I can do here. And then you can see here, I completely changed her outfit, added florals, put a little birdie on her shoulder and changed her hair. And here's another one. This one again was in the bright sun. And again, I changed her hair, added this platinum style jewelry, platinum style top she's wearing just to match the skirt. Originally, she had her top off and just kind of covered herself. But also, if you look in the background, you can see here what I mean about adding anything in the background or whatever the case. It will suit most times whatever the sharpness or blur is. It will match that the majority of the time. Okay, another one here. Here's the original, which is still pretty. But then I was like, oh, let me put a window and, you know, some flowers and create more down here, which originally there wasn't. And then over here, it just kind of kept building on it and it just created a really nice overall finished look. Again, here is another one. I shot this in LA. We were outside and yep, same thing. I wanted to create more background. You can see here it's taking this light that it's reading from the image, and then I kind of just kept building on the background. It put her in water. I don't remember the prompts I used anymore, but you can see it even created her bottom half for me, which here you don't, that wasn't here. So yeah, it's really neat with some of the things you can create once you get used to the tools. Same thing. I took her crown off. This was like shot in my bedroom with a ring light. and removed the jewelry, edited some of the clothing. Her hair is completely different. She's blonde hair here, she's brunette. Earrings are gone, crown is gone. Yeah, so, and then also here, like, I think I cropped it, but there was more down here, and I kind of added like just an extra bit that would suit the top. As you can see, the top up here is different than here. I wanted to get rid of the tattoo and just add more of this crinkled look for the material. And then this one too, so same girl, and this is the original look, which I love. But then I just went in and played around and created this final look using the Generative Fill tool again, creating little, you know, bokeh and bubbles, and just really just making it fun, letting her hair blow around. So there is a lot to be learned using the Generative Fill tool. Once you get used to it, you can create some really amazing photos, but I would recommend first that you edit what you want, do your basic editing, whatever it is, and then go in and play around and see what you can create. And so if you are interested, I have a course that's a few hours, not too long, not too short, and I go through all these steps: how to edit hair, how to clean up skin, how to edit wardrobe, and all of the other things that I do using the tool. And there are practice files, and so it just makes it easier and quicker to get started. Some of it's just to watch and some of it's to follow along, but if you want to check it out, there's a link in the description, and if you have any questions, you can just send me a message and I'd be happy to help with anything you want to ask. So thanks for watching. I hope this helped you to learn how to use the tool a little easier, as I know some people are really frustrated and they just get fed up and don't even bother, but it just takes a little time and a little practice, and once you get used to it, it's pretty fun, pretty amazing. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.